Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. Well, Palantir continues to experience this breakout, setting a new 52-week year-to-date high and beating last year's year-to-date high at 2185. PLTR closes at 2360 and is at a high that we have not seen in a long time for this particular individual stock. We're going to be talking about where is the top for PLTR, what could we be expecting for 2024, recapping some important metrics, and also talking about the incoming volatility that could push this stock to even higher levels. Now, if you are a new or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Always do your own research out there. PLTR. For the bulls out there, congratulations to the bulls. As you see here, up another 7.9%, closing at 2360 at 2351 in the after hours. What you see right now for the actual volume is at 254 million. Still, we got hundreds of millions of volume coming in, and at a market cap of over 51 billion now. Now the question is, where does PLTR go from here? And this is really where the sky is the limit, and also any pullback could happen in the market. What we have seen this whole earnings season is very great reports from many of the big tech stocks, and now Palantir included, really fueling this AI rally that is continuing to evolve across the market. You see NVIDIA right here touching points at $700, and you have a lot of this trickling into some of the top AI competitors. Now with Palantir, toggle over to the options. You still have a ton of bullishness in terms of the call volume for end of date expirations on Friday. You got 61,000 at the 24 strike price and 60,000 at the 25 strike price. So what you do have is a lot of people that are still taking a short-term bullish bet on PLTR continuing to raise through the end of the week. Now, the reason why right now we say the sky's the limit and any pullbacks could happen at any time is because PLTR has established a large gap, just like it did in last earnings. We're talking about Q3, and we're having that similar type of trading scenario that has been being played out. If we zoom out a little bit here, get back to where Q3 was, if you get back here even on the hour charts, and see right here, PLTR goes from 14 all the way up to 17, touching this year-to-date high in 2023 of 2183. Same thing happens here at this last quarter reports. You go from 17 up to the 19s and then pushing to 2387. So lots of volatility here, as we have not established a lot of support in recent history at these levels. So this needs to consolidate. This needs to build foundational support, test different resistance zone. So many things could happen within the actual next few trading sessions. Now let's talk about what this rally and this great Seeking Alpha article here, talking about how this rally is just getting started, and talking about Q4 was a big catalyst into Palantir's expectedness for a great 2024 performance, revenue, and report. And what we talk about right here are some of those Q4 highlights. One of the biggest ones that we have talked about multiple times already is 70% year over year on the US commercial revenue. I think that was one of the biggest numbers that came in for this quarter's report, and the overall revenue growing another 20% in operating margins coming in at 34%. And specifically what we have are some new great bar charts to compare, like we've been utilizing in the Q3 earnings. Now we got the Q4 ones. You can see here, this gap from 77 million to 131 million, up 70%, is tremendous and very successful for Palantir. Also, still, while they are taking a big dive into the private sector, government revenues, they have slowed down, but this is not a surprise to me, as Palantir has been investing a lot of their resources into AIP and building their clientele by diversifying, like I said, into that private sector. Government revenue, though, and government revenue growth still increase 11% and 6% respectively. And guidance is looking great. We've recapped this before, but just for those that are new to PLTR stock and getting in, learning what this is about, because it's at the top of the headlines right now, 612 to 616 million for the first quarter of 2024. And you can see here free cash flows of 800 to 1 billion. Now, Seeking Alpha, this person that wrote this article here, what a big catalyst they talk about is their involvement into the European sector and how the NHS contract can set a stage for a lot of those revenues coming in overseas. And I would agree with that, because the amount of credibility that this helps, because PLTR is very bullish for people looking to get involved by utilizing AI within their actual businesses. You also have the Titan contract, which was great for PLTR, and now not four quarters of gap profitability. We talk about that all the time. We have 5 quarters of gap profitability right now for the S&P criteria that has now been fully met and has exceeded those criteria expectations. Now the question is, when is this going to happen? Continued success, continued gap profitability likely can increase its chances for the actual PLTR stock to be included with the S&P 500. And based on historical metrics at the S&P, in fact, typically what we've seen, just due to all the other different funds that do track the S&P 500 index, is about a 5% rise. So lots of things are happening with PLTR, and especially, like I said, with a great earnings season that we've seen, this is great, especially for AI related stocks and setting the expectations for what the rest of the year can bring. And also, in addition, with the hopes that the Fed will begin cutting rates by March or in the first half of 2024. Now that still brings some uncertainty. We've seen a little more uncertainty from the actual Fed themselves regarding these potential interest rate cuts. But leading to here, like I agree, right now, where PLTR goes from here, my opinion is that the sky appears to be the limit. And that is because a lot of people are looking to get in, and we're seeing some FOMO across the board on PLTR stock. Now, one of the biggest questions that PLTR does get, and one of the biggest criticism, is what about its valuations, its financials, and its valuations? PLTR has always, in the recent history, been trading at a high valuation compared to other SaaS companies, software as a service, basically companies, and I would agree with that. However, with the AI demand that we are seeing, PLTR is still continuing to grow into its valuation, and the valuation is a good gauge or a barometer basically of what the Wall Street analyst, what institutional and retail expectations, what they are expecting future revenues for Palantir to post, and buying at a premium, thinking that the stock is going to increase in price. And right now, everybody is expecting the demand for AI, which will bring great results for AIP, and just the actual momentum and the successful decisions that Palantir is making. This is why I think there's a high valuation that's behind it, and this is still being justified because you can see it right now that people are still continuing to buy at the price, even at 23 right now at year-to-date highs. So with that being said, Palantir is looking really good. We've talked about it. We've seen it. We've been keeping you guys updated on a daily basis. Remember when we started covering Palantir, look at where it's sitting at right now. But there's a ton of volatility ahead of us. So people looking in to try to FOMO in right now, beware out there. Do full risk assessment and always think to yourself, what do you value the stock personally? Because with the volatile times that we have right now, especially after this great pump after earnings, there could be pullbacks at any time that we could see any type of profit taking cascade. However, if people are looking more into the long term, then you can have a whole different perspective on what the current price means to you. Let me know. What do you think down in the comments? What are we going to be seeing for the rest of 2024? Where do you see PLTR here in the next few weeks? What do you think is going to be happening? Do you think there's going to be a pullback? I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.